7 games tested on the ROG Xbox Ally X and 45 minutes of impressive pre-release footage. We're going to be reacting to that footage and taking a little sneak peek, snippet look at it. Now, a lot of French YouTubers have already got their hands on the ROG Xbox Ally because in France, apparently, they're shipping them out to people already. They've literally started shipping them out to people. Screw the release date worldwide. Damn the French. Anyways, I'm Blaze2K. Like, subscribe, click the bell icon if you're hyped. Click the like, click the subscribe if you are just excited about handheld gaming. Take the time. It really would mean a lot to me. And if you have an X account over on social media, consider giving me a follow. Blaze2KX on X, link down below in the description and top pinned comment. And come, I'm usually resharing gaming news, tech news, Nintendo stuff, cool stuff. And if you want cool stuff on your feed, because there's a lot of negativity out there in the world, and all I do is try and share the positive stuff, okay? So if you want your feed to be a little bit more clean, come follow me over on X. So without further ado, let's get into it. So let's read the article first. Launching next week, the ROG Xbox Ally is launching next week. No surprise, we're starting to see some early footage of the Ally X out in the wild. That means we can start seeing how powerful this thing really is. The video you see below is courtesy of YouTuber Dan's Tagrossi, who received a ROG Xbox Ally early due to a delivery error, and they've taken it upon themselves to record footage of 7 games running on the device, those being Clear Obscure, Expedition 33, Street Fighter 6, Gears of War Reloaded, Elden Ring Night Rain, Monster Hunter Wilds, and Hollow Knight Silksong. I am super excited to see how Monster Hunter Wilds runs. We mentioned that the intent behind this 45-minute video isn't to provide a detailed breakdown on how each game runs, but rather to showcase a general overview of their experiences playing the game so far. In other words, they don't make many tweaks to things like graphics, resolution, and upscaling, so the figures we're seeing here aren't necessarily representative of the kind of experience you'll be getting with these titles on your personal system, depending on your graphical settings. He says the idea with this video is to generally have a somewhat mainstream, somewhat general approach. Basically, in other words, he didn't feel like putting on consistent settings and tinkering around with the settings too much. So for the average Joe, you're going to be seeing, what games are going to look like when you load this thing up. So here's the fella here, and he's got the ROG Xbox Ally on his table. God, what we wouldn't do to be sitting in his shoes, sitting on that chair next to him right now, so we could grab it and make a run for it. Oh man, it won't do a translated version.
Vidéo Win 5 quand je vais la recevoir, mais l'idée c'est vraiment plus d'avoir.
Some videos, I noticed my videos have actually been audio transcribed or translated via like an audio track, which is pretty cool. Dubbed, the AI dubbing is now available on my videos. So if you're from a non-English speaking country, you can watch my videos, and there's been a few people that have popped in and noticed. Anyways, let's get started. So let's take a look at the first game. So he's launching up Clear Obscure Expedition 33. It's running anything from 30 to 60 FPS depending on the wattage. Let's take a look at some of the gameplay. Running at 28. So yeah, it runs anywhere from 30 to FPS to 60 depending on the wattage being used. Seems all the graphics are mostly on default settings, so probably anywhere from medium to high. They also mention how they won't compromise on 1080p, so they never dip down to 720 or 900p. So this is basically running at 1080p, and we're in the 20s right now. This is one of the reasons why, personally, I think this is probably a whole lot better than what the Steam Deck would be able to get, frankly, on this game. But I understand why some people are willing to wait a couple more years to get a truly next-gen upgrade to their handheld devices. I mean, we've seen the GPD5, giving you performance, next-gen performance now with like 2 to 3 times to 4 times the performance of something like the Steam Deck, but it comes at a pretty penny. It's like $1,500 to get a GPD. Plus, it comes from China. There's not really any recourse in terms of warranty support because it's it's not a mainstream handheld, and it is coming from China. It's an import, so that's cool and all. But I'd like to focus on the more mainstream things like the ROG Ally and the Legion Go, and I cannot wait till we get a true next-gen upgrade in terms of power, because I would love to play these games at like 60 minimum, so he's running this at 25 watt now, and oh look, okay, we're getting about 40 frames at 25 watts, so he's basically changing the TDP here. Very cool. So yeah, we're up to 50 frames. Hello. All right, now that's at turbo 25 watt mode. That's pretty nice. Let's see, is he gonna go up to, he's going up to 30 watt. What's he getting at? 30 watt. We're in the 50s, just about. All right, of the law of diminishing returns at this point. Oh, wait, never mind. 56, 57. Oh, dude. Hello. Let's go. Looking good, looking good. 44 frames, 43. Very playable. Now let's move on to Street Fighter. So here we have Street Fighter running on the Xbox ROG Ally. Very cool. He takes us into the graphics settings, basically running at 1080p. He's not compromising with that, which is nice. Running at the native resolution. Selecting stages. Street Fighter looks beautiful, doesn't it? So this is at 28 watts. He's getting 53 frames a second. Kind of surprising. Oh, this is a 17 watt, my bad. That the whole package wattage is 28, my bad. 48, 50, 51, 52. And these are just general settings, guys. So I'd imagine you'll be able to get better performance if you tweak your graphical settings and whatnot. But he's just running this with the default recommended settings. 60 frames. Now we're talking. So this is, I'm guessing, did he change the TDP? Let's fast forward to the end because this is probably 30 watt performance here. Looking good. Oh yeah. I love to see games running at 60 frames on a handheld. So there we go. That was Street Fighter 6. Looking good, guys. Looking good. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Now I believe he's going to be playing Gears of War Reloaded. So Gears of War Reloaded, which has been demoed in the run-up to release, seems to be another excellent fit for the system. Let me play the video. That would help. And it seems you don't need to use the highest wattages in order to achieve a fluid 60 FPS. So from what the article's saying and what the YouTuber's saying here is that, you know, the game's pretty well optimized for the ROG Ally, and it's a game that they've basically been showing off consistently in the run-up to the Xbox Ally's release date. And it obviously is a first-party Xbox game, so that doesn't surprise me. Usually first-party games on first-party hardware, even though this is an Asus device, it tends to be more optimized, right? And let's not forget, Gears of War Reloaded is basically a slightly remastered version of the original Gears of War 1 game. So not surprising that this runs at a fluid 60, even at lower wattages, right? I mean, man, this is one thing I'd love to play on the Steam Deck that unfortunately I can't. At least I've not tried. I need to look up the performance, but I'm willing to bet that you're going to struggle to get a fluid 60. I don't even think you can run this natively on the Steam Deck because of anti-cheat and whatnot, but pretty cool. Playing Gears of War on a handheld. God, if you could take me back to 2006 and tell me back when the 360 launched that I could play a game like this with Gears of War with chunks of body parts flying off after using the Gnasher and the Lancer and just chainsawing people in half on a handheld device, dude, I would just pass out. So Gears of War running pretty good. So next up we have Elden Ring and Elden Ring Night Rain. So they seem to be getting 30 FPS plus for the most part, although that's with quality settings set to high. Temperature seems to climb quite a bit high on the high preset, around 75 degrees Celsius, but then drop significantly to 60 degrees Celsius when they test the low preset for just a few seconds, and then FPS obviously goes up. So here is Elden Ring. This is another game that I remember when it came out and I tried playing it on the Steam Deck. Oh, did it just crash on them? I think it did. Yeah, I just had to load it back up again. It crashed when it loaded. So, oh wait, hold on, he is compromising. This is 720p Elden Ring. Okay. Ooh, 36, 33 frames. This is where VRR is definitely going to, you know, play a good role in terms of smoothing things out for you. All right, he barely showed any gameplay, did he? So, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but he's running at 720p and he's getting around 30 frames. Again, I want to play Elden Ring at 60 frames, you know, especially for games where you're fighting bosses and every move and the second that you move and the second you jump out the way and dodge, you know, are crucial. You want to be playing games like that at 60. So I'm a little bit disappointed that we're not getting closer to 60 on this. But again, tweaking the settings, using FSR, using frame gen, although maybe not the best for responsiveness, could be an option for this, right? Let's take a look at Elden Ring Night Rain. 30. Game looks, I mean, the quality settings look all right. It does look like it's definitely using FSR to the extreme. a little bit. Could be wrong. I mean, it's going to look worse on a bigger screen. I'm watching this on a 27-inch monitor, and it still looks decent, but you can tell it's obviously going to look nicer on that smaller 7-inch display. So yeah, there we go. You're looking at around 30, 40 FPS on Elden Ring. To be honest, not worlds apart from what I get on my Steam Deck, frankly. Monster Hunter Wilds. Let's take a look at Monster Hunter Wilds now. This is going to be an interesting one. Now, Monster Hunter Wilds seems to run at, let's see, 30 to 40 FPS by default with a personalized graphics settings, presumably around medium to high again, but this is where the power of the AMD FSR is shown off, with the game instantly jumping to over 60 FPS when that frame gen toggle is activated. They say it's a much more satisfying experience this way, and it's another game, Monster Hunter Wilds is another game, where you're fighting a massive dinosaur monster thing, and you're having to dodge and time your dodges and time your attacks to basically get the most damage and avoid getting clapped and killed by this thing, the monster, right, that you're fighting. So again, input delay, input lag, and stuff like that, it's not your best friend for games like this. So I wouldn't advise you to run with frame gen on a game like this. You can see FSR's cranked up. I mean, look at how fuzzy everything is. I'd love to see the FSR 4 mod being used on this. I mean, it looks like he's got FSR and upscaling turned on to the max. I mean, look at the character, how fuzzy it is. I'd love to see how FSR 4 works on this. We've obviously seen the FSR being shoehorned in to things like the Steam Deck, and the difference between FSR 3.1 and 4 is pretty significant in certain games, and this is one of those examples I think it would shine on. It does hit your performance a little bit, so maybe, if you manage to mod FSR 4 to work on this, you'd maybe get 35 frames or something, or low 30s, but it would look a lot better and a lot sharper, and you'd get a lot less artifacts on the character here. But yeah, Monster Hunter 30, 39. Let's see what it's like with FSR. I mean, frame gen. We're looking at closer to 50, but again, input delay. So Hollow Knight, let's move on to Hollow Knight now for the ROG Xbox Ally and take a look. So in their test, YouTuber shows the game hitting well over 300 FPS, 300 frames a second on Hollow Knight. Oh my God. 280. I mean, let's be honest, guys. I grew up in the 2000s, in the 90s and 2000s, so I remember a website called Miniclip with Flash games, and this art style was like really prevalent back then on, Adobe Flash games. I remember in IT class, computer science, and basically, playing a lot of these miniclip.com games when I wasn't supposed to be, and these aren't demanded to run, so I'm not surprised he's getting like 300 frames on this thing. It's obviously going to run it. This could run on a potato, more than likely. So I don't think using this as a benchmark in game is a good idea. But it's cool that we get to see it. And listen, doesn't the Xbox ROG Ally look nice? I'm just a little bit envious that he gets to play it. The more I look at, wait, why has he got red buttons on his Xbox ROG Ally? Has he already switched out the buttons? Hold on a second, dude. Lift that Xbox back up again. Has he already modified his buttons, or is that just the light reflecting off the buttons? See, the buttons have like a reddish glow to them. Interesting. And he does seem to like the color red. There's red everywhere in his apartment. What have you done to the buttons, dude? What have you done? Let us know. So there we go, guys. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on the performance that you have seen in this video here today. I'll put a link to his video down below in the video description and top in comment. And if I forget to, when I'm in the process of making a thumbnail for this video and just getting the video, because more work goes into the thumbnails for my videos than it does sometimes filming the videos. So if I forget to put links into certain things, remind me in the comments and I'll try to do that. Either way, there are games for this for which this Xbox Ally X performs magnificently. As soon as you adjust the settings a little bit, you're going to have something that's going to be super, super nice, is what you had to say. So there we go, guys. Let me know your thoughts down below. I'm Blaze2K. Stay up to date for more Xbox ROG Ally news. Obviously, there's going to be a lot more coming quick and fast in the next couple of days as we get closer to release date. I'll also be streaming Battlefield 6 tomorrow. So come join me for streaming today, getting ready for Battlefield 6, and Battlefield 6 stream tomorrow, because I am super hyped. And if you like Battlefield 6, then come join me. Anyways, I'm Blaze. Peace out.
Let's go.